Hello, this is Bill Steffen. Hey, I bet some of you are waking up and heading out to shovel a little bit of snow or run the snow blower out there. We've had several inches of snow, and a few spots have had even more than that. We're running out of the month of November, and boy, the end of November and early December here look pretty cold. In fact, I was just looking at the European model going out 15 days, and it says temperatures in Grand Rapids should be averaging about 4 to 5 degrees colder than average. So indeed, this is a rather cool pattern that's going to linger here through the first half of the month of December at least. We've been watching the polar vortex, which is sitting over the northern part of Hudson Bay. So far, it's kind of staying up there. Little itsy lobes are coming down, producing some colder air here in the Great Lakes, but nothing drastic as of yet, but it is certainly sitting up there poised and ready to come down. There'll be some low temperatures in Montana down around 10 to 15 below early this morning, so there is cold air around. We'll have a chance for some snow showers during the day today, especially toward the Lakeshore. Some slick spots from the snow, certainly, as people head out to church here during this Sunday morning. A lot of services are now streaming online, so if you think it's not safe to go out in your area, you're a little uncomfortable with driving on the snow, there are some alternatives there for you. Continued cool weather expected here, the pattern for at least the next couple of weeks, it looks like. We'll see more clouds than sun, so if you see a little bit of sunshine here, count yourself lucky. Okay, let's move on and talk about weather a little bit. First of all, we've had a lot of warnings in effect in the pink color, the advisories in the purple color, and those come down at 10 a.m. So this Sunday morning, we'll see the snow taper off here fairly early. And while there could be some snow showers during the day, especially near the Lakeshore, there'll be at least a portion of the day here where it won't be snowing, and the plow crews will have a chance to catch up there a little bit. Okay, a little look at the snow depth across the area here. This is from northern lower Michigan and upper Michigan, and you can see some of the numbers there. There are places that have picked up well over a foot of snow. That area around Mansalona, Gaylord, southwest of Gaylord there, and south of Gaylord typically gets a good amount of snow. Plows have been out there, and same up in the UP. Some places there have had snow. I did get some numbers. Gaylord has 12 inches of snow on the ground as of late Saturday night. They've had 22 inches for the season. Marquette up in the UP at the airport there, they are up almost to 44 inches for the season. And this storm that's come through here, that produced some snow here, produced as much as 12 inches of snow in northern Illinois, 15 inches in Iowa, 10 inches in northern Indiana, 11 inches in northeastern Missouri, and 10 inches in southern Wisconsin. So a lot of snow, a lot of wintry weather there. But you can see where the heavy snow is lined up. So if you got a snow machine or a snowmobile, you might want to head up there south of Gaylord, and you can find plenty of trails up there that are going to be packed with snow, and have a great time. Get outside and do that. All right, let's go on to the next picture here, our 66-hour snowfall maps. The heaviest snow today heads into Quebec, a system moving right along. We have to watch out for a possible storm, a nor'easter in New England, producing some snow there. But you can see on this map the snow that's downwind from the Great Lakes, the south shore of Lake Superior, the Michigan and Indiana shores of Lake Michigan, downwind from Lake Erie, east of Cleveland, that area picking up some snow, and a couple of yellow dots there near the Tug Plateau, east of Lake Ontario, where they should see over 6 inches of snow. Let's zoom into the Great Lakes here, and we'll show you where some more snow is expected here over the next several days. Everybody's going to see a little bit more snow, and with temperatures no warmer than the mid-30s here, it's going to be sticking around for a little bit. You can see where the heaviest snow is going to be in the UP and in northern lower Michigan. Hardly any as you head over toward Detroit and Toledo. You can see the snow east of Cleveland and again east of Lake Ontario. Let's zoom in a little closer here and get into West Michigan and show you what's going on here. If you're down towards South Bend, another 4 inches of snow over the next 3 days. That's what the dark blue would mean here. 4 to maybe as many as 5 inches. But once you get up toward Grand Rapids, maybe an inch or so. And you can see there's places up there east and southeast of Traverse City and up toward Sheboygan where they should also be seeing some significant snow over the next 3 days. Let's pick on Grand Rapids here with our next slide and be able to show you that we're expecting about 1 inch of snow over the next 3 days or so. That's after this system clears out. No heavy snow here is expected. We should all see trace amounts here, some flurries, and that would be about it. So the main bulk of the storm is leaving us, and we're left with some lighter snow showers here through the mid part of the week. On we go to talk about the Lakeshore. And if you're over toward Lake Michigan, it's going to get kind of breezy here this afternoon once again. That's a nice picture out there showing 3 guys out fishing. And if you look real close, right above the fishermen, there's a black dot. I've been trying to avoid that. That's part of a spider's snare or something like that. There's spider webs that develop and sometimes the wind and the rain and the snow can't clear those, but we're hoping we can get rid of that there. But if you look way up in the left corner, upper left corner, there's a dot there, and that is a boat that was out on the lake in the midst of the snow and the cold and the ice. Somebody was out there fishing from a boat. I think the guys on the pier. In fact, I was looking at the number of piers. The pier at South Haven, there were people fishing out there as well. Water temperature of Reed's Lake down 1 in the past 24 hours to 40. I think the water temperature in the Holland area will stop at about 40 for much of this week as the lake overturns and the water from the bottom comes toward the top. Waves should be increasing to as high as 6 to 12 feet here during the day today. And we will have gale warnings in effect today. So for those of you who are fishing out there, be careful out on those piers and breakwaters because the waves will be increasing as the day goes on. Okay, on we go. Talk about something fun for you. The ice rink at Holland is open. They had $1 million private donation from Frank the teacher, and that helped them to construct this absolutely amazing ice rink. It's got a 700-foot skating ribbon that you can go on. There's a skating pond. There's a curling rink there, which you can sign up and rent. It's right about 6th Street and Waterfront, so just very close to downtown, walking distance. And they have hot cocoa, which was part of the deal with getting the donation, is that they would have I like hot cocoa, so that would be pretty cool. But there were people out there skating, and if you got some time, they have skates there to rent. They have 3 fire pits there if you want to warm up a little bit. Really a neat thing. And between that and the park up in Muskegon, there's just so many neat things to do here in the wintertime in West Michigan. Okay, we're going to talk about today's weather here. First of all, the snow winding down. Here's some of the accumulations across the area. We're getting about 6 to 8 inches for the West Michigan area. Up to 8 inches fell in Chicago. There was one little area where they picked up 12 to 15 inches in eastern Iowa. And right along Interstate 80, they've got the road open, but boy, it's snow covered, and there's some pretty good snow piles out there in eastern Iowa. All right, on we go. And up next, we have the hazards. And this is for very early Sunday morning, the winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories. These will be coming down as the storm lifts into Quebec. And you can see the storm affected much of Iowa into central and northern Illinois, central and northern Indiana, northwest Ohio. Once you got farther south toward the Ohio River, precipitation fell in the form of rain. They had quite a delay, by the way, due to lightning at the one of the games, the TCU game, which was down in the Dallas, Texas area. And they switched over to my alma mater, the Wisconsin-Minnesota game. Wisconsin lost. They've had quite the tough year. They won their first 2 non-conference games against smaller schools. But, boy, I don't know. They got some rebuilding to do there. Today's weather, 34 degrees. So this could be the warmest day of the week, actually. Though it won't feel that way because we got a pretty stiff north to northwest wind at 15 to 20 miles an hour. Humidity stays high at 80 to 90% during the day, 70% chance of snow showers, and a few of those will linger overnight. The outlook here for temperatures, so we'll show you temperatures first of all for the area for the day today. High temperatures for this Sunday will generally be in the low to mid 30s across the area. And that will continue to be the case here throughout much of the Great Lakes area. So if we can go on to that map for the high temperatures for the day today. For Sunday, we have reading about 34 for Grand Rapids. You find 31 for Chicago, 37 for Detroit, where there's very little snow over there on the ground. 32 up at Gaylord. You can see up in the UP. Over on the right side there, we've got Upper Michigan for you to look at. And temperatures there will be mainly in the 20s. That means the ski resorts will be able to make some snow and really get things going. And then the outlook for Monday calls for temperatures to be just a little bit colder, about 30 for the Grand Rapids area. Look at the temperatures across the lake, only in the low to mid 20s there. There's a 21 at Oshkosh and a 22 at Green Bay. That area will warm up a touch crossing Lake Michigan, but some pretty chilly air here for early December. A look at high temperatures across the, let's see, first of all, I think we have the 5-day forecast coming up next. Let's see if we can take a look at that. And then we have high temperatures after that. But this one shows you the next 5 days. 34 for this Sunday, 29 is all we get here for Monday and Tuesday. And we get a couple degrees warmer on Wednesday, and then even colder air arrives for Thursday and Friday, where temperatures will only be in the mid-20s during the daytime. I mean, that's cold, but it's not drastically cold for Michigan. A chance of snow each day, 70% today, a little bit more in the Lakeshore counties, a little bit less as you go east to Grand Rapids. I think there'll be some snow late Monday into very early Tuesday. I got the chance of snow during the day, Monday at 50%. That's pretty much mainly late afternoon. And then we've got chances for more light snow or flurries here through the mid part of the week. Now we'll take a look at high temperatures across the United States and show you the cold air. We never really got down to South Florida, where readings are going to be in the low 80s. It's fairly mild out in the desert Southwest, but look at the cold air across the northern plains. Those are high temperatures, some only in the single figures to teens, from Montana across the Dakotas into Minnesota. And our wind is going to be northwest today, so it's going to be tapping some of that cold air, bringing that into Michigan. All right, the 8 to 14-day outlook calls for temperatures here to be on the cool side, and that's the pattern here for December 6 to 12. And I think that lasts right through the mid part of the month. In fact, we had pretty much broadcast the fact. I think the long range forecasts were pretty consistent in the fact that we would be colder than average between Thanksgiving and Christmas and maybe beyond. That polar vortex looks pretty intense already up in Hudson Bay and James Bay. And as long as it stays up there, no worries. But if that glob were to come down here, we'd be looking at temperatures knocking on the door of 0 or even below that. And look at Alaska getting cold again. So that cold air is building up there as well. So I have to keep an eye on that. And then in terms of rainfall, we're near to slightly above average, a little bit of lake contributing to that. But you can see much of the country will be seeing some precipitation here. So a pretty cold day today. Watch your step driving out there, some slick spots, especially this Sunday morning. And we've got the possibility for more periods of snow here during the week with a cold pattern. Now, courtesy of Alex and Michelle, some slides here. November 30th birthday is Samuel Clements, a.k.a. Mark Twain. Grew up in Hannibal, Missouri. I've seen his house there. Connecticut and King Arthur's Court, a number of different. I like the fact that the guy's got a mustache. I've had the mustache going for a long time here, 50 plus years. So I appreciate that. But again, happy birthday, a belated post-life birthday here to Mark Twain. And who else we got? We got somebody else here, Winston Churchill. Never give up, never give up. That's one of his famous speeches in Missouri. He gave that speech. And I think he just said those 3 words 3 times, never give up, to college graduates there. But there were some strong leaders during the time of World War II, Winston Churchill, Dwight Eisenhower, Franklin Roosevelt, and we turned back a great evil then. But Churchill goes back to 1874, so that's a long time now. All right, and also, look at this, November 30th birthday to Dick Clark. 1929, he was born amid the gathering Great Depression. Dick Clark's father worked for, I believe, ABC, if I'm not mistaken. And he eventually got the show American Bandstand and I believe for the initial part it was based out of Philadelphia. And if you were a singer or a group act and you were in the Philadelphia area, you had a little bit better chance of making it big time because he might notice you. But quite an interesting guy. He always looked about the same, didn't look any different through the course of his career. And he did Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve for a number of years on the ABC network. Remember, everybody watched him. He would play a song and then ask kids there to rate it. And the kids would always say, well, it's got a good beat and it's easy to dance to, or something like that. It was a hoot. But, and a lot of those segments are still up on YouTube. You can go take a look at Dick Clark. There was one where he interviewed the Trash Men, and the singer from a lot of it was all dubbed, lip dub at the time. The guy, after doing a song, was totally out of breath and couldn't talk. And so Dick kept filling time, and eventually the clock kind of ran out. But that was kind of a funny segment. All right, what else we got here for you? Let's take a look at what's up next here. A salute to Hedwig Orlovsky, the only Michigan woman killed in Vietnam on November 30th, 1967. There were 8 nurses that passed away during the Vietnam War and 56 other female civilians. Hedwig Orlovsky was the only one from Michigan. She was awarded a Bronze Star. She is buried in Detroit, and thanks especially to all of those who have served and are serving right now. Okay, on to the next slide that we have here for you. November 30th, 1954, Ann Hodges was struck by a meteorite. I mean, how unlucky can you be out of all the people in the world and how few meteorites actually impact the ground? The only confirmed report of a meteorite hitting a person crashed into her house in Alabama, Sylacauga. She was asleep on her couch, suffered a bruised hip, but was otherwise fine. Legal dispute over the ownership of the meteorite. So they found the meteorite, which is pretty cool. Eventually, it was donated to the Alabama Museum of Natural History. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. And it being donated, she didn't get anything out of it except the bruised hip. Oh man. Fortunately, we don't have many of these impacting the ground. Meteors that come into the Earth's atmosphere tend to burn up before they reach ground level here. Up next, what do we have? We have some pictures for you from the freighter City of Bangor, which ran aground near Keweenaw Point. And this, again, one of those very long ships. It's been on the Great Lakes, had been on the Great Lakes for 30 years. It was trapped on the ice on November 30th, 1926. And a severe storm pushed the ship onto the rocks. So it was stuck there. Okay, and we have a yellow arrow, which means there's more to this story. So let's go on to the next slide here and see what else we can learn. The ship was carrying 248 new Chrysler cars from Detroit to Minnesota. Wow. 18 cars were lost. Some were fined and eventually driven off the ship. 202 vehicles were salvaged and sold. Isn't that interesting? They had to move the boat, so they had to get the boat off the ice and the rocks there at some point in time. Okay, let's go on to the next one. There's an arrow there, so this is the third part of the story. All 29 crew members made it ashore. Okay, I don't know if they had a boat to lower or if they had to wade through that ice-cold water to get the shoreline, but then they had to walk 15 miles to the nearest town. Wow. The ship was scrapped for metal during World War II, but there's a picture of what it looks like, and that was the freighter City of Bangor. Now, I don't know if they meant Bangor, Michigan, or Bangor, Maine, but we'll take credit and make it Bangor, Michigan here. Interesting. All right, we have some additional pictures here from John, and John. Sunset over Mullet Lake, beautiful there. We got the clouds, and of course the sun for those brief couple of minutes will shine underneath the clouds there and illuminate the clouds in that reddish orange color. Red and orange colors get through the air the best, so they tend to be more prominent colors at sunrise and sunset. The boats have all been taken in for the year, but they're all set, ready to go there for the next year. That's from John Kimball at Mullet Lake. And up next, we have John Scully. And John sent us a picture of the what looks like the lake band of snow out over the lake and some blue sky in the upper left. You can see the variation of color there. Waves not too terribly high. And the water level, again, a little bit below average here, which is good because we get these days with high wave action, and it's really nice that we're not getting as much erosion as we would have if the water levels were fairly high. Thank you, John, as always. And we have another picture from a different John. This is John Doherty up in Benzie County. And you can see a pretty big wave crashing in there, so pretty breezy. The wind is going from right to left, and I can tell that by just looking at the clouds. You're probably looking west out over Lake Michigan there with the northwest wind bringing down the cold air from Canada. The gray clouds, not letting a lot of light come through. The clouds may be a bit thicker there, but you can see some breaks there off to the west where some of the lower clouds are illuminated a little bit in that more whitish color. Neat picture. And do we have one more, or are we done for the day? We are done. Hey, thanks for sticking around here until the very end. Take it easy if you're shoveling snow out there. Stay safe if you're going to be driving on the roads. Cold week coming up. Look for an occasional snow shower today. And there's that picture. That was a picture I took not I took, but my wife took in Indiana. And I remember I was so impressed. This is in southern Indiana. And the corn was already like up to my armpit, and this was around the 4th of July. I think it was already that high, and I was really impressed. All right, thanks for subscribing. Remember, our YouTube channel here is Bill Steffen 616. I'm also at billsteffen.com. So have yourself a great day, everybody.